Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Firefighters podcast, where we seek to develop, inspire, and motivate the world of the emergency services operator through a series of wide-ranging conversations. Now, before we go any further, just hit that rate, follow, or subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening to. It's a key performance indicator for us and helps us reach even more people. Now, here's what we've got for you today.
Today's debrief takes us to 419 Bethnal Green Road, East London, on 20th of July 2004. On late afternoon on Tuesday, 20th of July 2004, a fire broke out in a shop used for retail and storage of children's clothing and textiles. It was a 3-floor commercial premises with a basement that would quickly become the centre of the incident. Around 50 firefighters from London Fire Brigade were mobilised to the fire, and among them were Billy Faust, aged 36, and Adam Meere, aged 27, both from Whitechapel Red Watch. Adam had only qualified as a firefighter 3 months earlier, and Billy had 7 years of service behind him, both still with many years of service ahead of them, but for Adam at least, still building the beginning of his operational story. We're working in collaboration with the Blue Light Show, a national conference and exhibition built around one thing: blue light services do better together than apart. I'm going to be there 1st and 2nd of July 2026 at the event, getting involved with those conversations and connecting with people who really care about doing the job better across the blue light sector. I'll see you there. The shop itself was secured by a metal security shutter at the front. That immediately restricted access and delayed entry. Internally, the building was heavily stocked with textiles, creating a significant fuel load. Once inside, crews were confronted with extremely thick smoke, narrow passageways used for storage goods, and a stairway leading down into the basement where the fire itself was located. This was not a big open retail space to just wrap your head around. It was tight, it was cluttered, and offered very limited egress once committed. And from a fire behaviour perspective, this matters enormously. Think basement fire, high fuel loaded, limited ventilation, and restricted access. All of these factors face the firefighters before a single tactical decision is even made. That type of environment can be very unforgiving. Despite the several debriefs and reports we've looked at, the source of ignition itself was never identified. Firefighters advanced under breathing apparatus, making their way through the smoke and down towards the basement. Billy and Adam entered together as a BA pair. They moved with purpose. They weren't freelancing. They weren't acting outside of procedures. They were doing exactly what firefighters were trained to do. And at some point, they also rescued another man from the incident. That detail is widely reported. So this wasn't blind commitment. It was purposeful, life-saving action.
I have been wearing Gore-Tex for nearly 2 decades on the front line, working in hostile environments, tackling challenging incidents from firefighting to water incidents and in urban search and rescue environments. Gore-Tex have a well-earned reputation for protecting professionals in the fire and emergency services through their family of highly innovative, waterproof, breathable moisture barriers that exceeds global performance standards and are trusted worldwide. Gore-Tex, going further together.
Firefighting operations continued and crews rotated. Additional firefighters entered through the front once the shutter had been forced open. And that is where the fire changed its character. There's been a lot of work and progress around ventilation and understanding the ventilation profile of incidents. And as we know now, as these openings were created, ventilation increased. At the time itself, ventilation was largely viewed, and still is, as a way of improving conditions. It lifts the smoke, improves visibility, and it makes the environment itself more workable. What was not fully appreciated at the time, and what we now understand more clearly, is that this fire was clearly ventilation controlled. It was fuel rich, oxygen starved, and waiting. And when ventilation increased, so did the fire. It accelerated. An increase in ventilation resulted in a flashover. Fire behaviour shifted violently, and heat release increased rapidly. Conditions in the basement deteriorated beyond survivability. Billy and Adam became trapped following an explosion that triggered a collapse and cut off their water supply. From the varying reports, there was one hose line that was rendered ineffective and another that had burned through. Despite these worsening conditions, Billy and Adam were located by their colleagues. Firefighters didn't withdraw and accept the loss. They committed again, and rescue operations were mounted immediately under conditions that were already proving lethal. Billy and Adam were carried out with severe injuries and taken to hospital. Sadly, both died from their injuries shortly after arrival. And in the aftermath, London Fire Brigade awarded 10 firefighters commendations for acts of bravery during the incident. The inquest that followed revealed further uncomfortable truths. The fire intensity appeared to be underestimated at command level. At the point where ventilation openings were made, it's detailed that commanders didn't realise the impact that airflow would have on fire's behaviour. particularly with crews still committed in the basement. The deaths of Billy and Adam triggered widespread grief across the fire service, and they also triggered change. The inquest led to key improvements in equipment, communications, and safety procedures, changes that would shape BA operations and ventilation understanding in the years that followed. In December 2017, Billy and Adam became the first firefighters commemorated with the Fire Brigade Union Red Plaque, marking their place in the collective memory of the fire service. 20 years after their death, a mural was unveiled at the Whitechapel Fire Station, visible from Commercial Road, a permanent reminder that the lessons written were paid for dearly.
It is beyond a privilege to be able to bring the Firefighters podcast to you, and we are so grateful for every single person that supports, listens, shares, and follows our journey. And to help us keep doing it, create more, reach more guests internationally, and make the podcast sustainable, we're asking for you to help. And to do this, we've set up a Patreon page. By joining our Patreon community, you will get access to every single full episode archive we have ever made. Now, hundreds and hundreds of key documents that we've got in there on fire behaviour, firefighter health, cancer risks, instant debriefs, and so much more. So if you feel like you want to join the Patreon crew and help us make this possible, head to patreon.com/TFFPC or check the link in any episode podcast notes.
Bethnal Green is an important incident, and it matters because the conditions that killed 2 firefighters in 2004 still exist today. There's a lot of work being done at a national, regional, and local level around basement fires, commercial fuel loads, restricted access, and ventilation-limited environments. What's hopefully changed is our understanding. Today, we're talking a lot more about ventilation profiles, flow paths, air tracks. We recognise that ventilation is not smoke management solely, it's also fire control. There's a tremendous amount of training and research being done internationally which feeds its way into the UK Fire and Rescue Service around tactical ventilation, whether you term it as positive pressure ventilation or positive pressure attack wherever you serve. It can be a crucial tool on the fire ground, so long as its effects are understood. Used with effective water use on the seat of the fire, timed, coordinated, can massively increase survivability, visibility, and delay or avoid certain firefighter phenomena. However, used without a clear understanding of the fire's ventilation state, they can accelerate fire growth fast, and any crews committed will be the ones paying the price. Bethnal Green should stand as a constant reminder that we need to ask those hard questions. Do we understand the fire's ventilation profile before we ventilate it? Are we reading the building as a system, or just seeing the smoke in front of us? Are our ventilation actions coordinated with fire attack? This incident reminds us that no matter your experience, many years in the job or just a few months, the tactics in use by the firefighters, or being deployed by the incident commanders, or their strategic intent for the overall incident, doesn't override physics. Billy and Adam lost their lives doing exactly what they were supposed to be doing, following the procedures to the best of their abilities, and they rescued someone. What subsequently happened meant they lost their lives due to fire behaviour moving and altering beyond our ability to recognise it. Our responsibility is not to judge the past but to integrate it into the present. Every time we open a door, every time we force a window, or every time we start a fan, the Bethnal Green Road incident should invite us to slow down and think, to truly respect how brutally fast fire can respond to air and ventilation. This was a short debrief covering the Bethnal Green Road fire on Tuesday, 20th of July, 2004. We'll see you next time.
Well, that's it for today, folks. Hope you took a lot away from that episode. We started the Firefighters podcast to develop, inspire, connect, motivate, represent, and most importantly, celebrate the world of incredible emergency services operators and the wider sector through this series of wide-ranging conversations. We really love creating this podcast and bringing it to so many people. Did you know you can also find these on YouTube? We do a lot of video podcasts now. You can head over to our YouTube page and follow, subscribe there. And as a final ask from us, whatever platform you're on, please rate the podcast. It really helps us as a key performance indicator to reach more and more people. I've been your host, Pete Wakefield. This has been the Firefighters podcast. And wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be happy, and where possible, please remember and support your firefighters and first responders. I'll see you next time.